Hey there, Cozy Midnight Collective listeners. Before we dive into today's episode, we want to give you a quick heads up.
This episode contains spoilers for the book that we're reading. So if you haven't read it yet and you want to experience it fresh, you might want to pause here and come back after you finish reading.
We also want to issue a content warning. This episode may include discussions of sensitive topics such as violence, abuse, mental health, etc. Please take care of yourself and feel free to skip this episode if it's not the right time for you.
Your well-being always comes first. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Cozy Midnight Collective. I'm Morgan.
And I'm Lauren. Tonight, we're diving into part 3 of Letters to the Purple Satin Killer by Joshua Chaplinsky. This is a chilling collection of letters sent to a convicted killer, Jonas Williker, aka the Purple Satin Killer. And this is pretty much made up of letters written to him while he's on death row.
Yeah, so we have gotten through, we have a whole video on part 1 that you can dive into if you're new here to join us. Welcome. I do want to say that if you're back with us, thank you for your patience as always. We have a whole other episode that you can listen to. That's part 1. We're doing a 3-part series on this book because it's so good and there's so much content that we really wanted to do it justice. Recapping, part 1 was we're meeting Jonas Williker for the first time. We find out that I think he was an 80s, 70s baby.
Yeah.
Right? So 40s. He's been caught and charged with at least 23 and ending the lives of 23 women plus. And I say plus because they think he has many, many, many more. Hopefully I can say
Do you think is okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to, isn't it so weird that we have to censor ourselves in a country that says you have free speech? Anyways, needless to say, they were brutal. And we find out all this information through letters only to Jonas Williker from people which are actually described in the book. He does a wonderful job, Josh Chaplinsky, in outlining the correspondence. So you know who each person is as you're reading the letter to Jonas. However, we never see Jonas speaking. No letters from Jonas, nothing. So it's all from a very interesting angle of not through his eyes whatsoever. It's through the eyes of the people.
Yeah.
It's really interesting take. I think it's probably one of the only books that I know of that has done that, because usually writers, authors, they focus on being in the killer's shoes versus the impact on the community looking through their lens to him, which is much more sadistic than you actually think. The culture in America definitely glorifies serial killers. And I think that's because we don't understand them. Although some say we do. I know we have a grasp on them, at least like behavioral analysts with like the FBI and everything like that. However, can you really understand them?
Yeah.
Unless you are them?
Like
I
what
don't know.
makes them end up that way? You know, I know
Like,
that
I know
they
there's
have,
always
the traits, but
nature versus nurture. We get that whole thing, but I know there's always like wanting to boil it down to that one thing where you're like, that's it. That's literally what did it. That is it. Can we fix that?
Yeah, can we prevent that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I kind of got a little off track, but it's a wonderful book.
Very good.
Join us if you haven't. Pick up the copy. The correspondence range from his mother to ex-girlfriends to victims to detectives. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend you go listen to our first video because we kind of outlined all of that for you already.
Yeah.
And
this book has a really good way of like, obviously we have like our main characters that we kind of are focused on, like Jonas's mom, Ginny.
She is
Jenny. Candace, who it ends up being his wife. And we'll kind of get into that as we further go on through part 3. And then there's like some characters that were introduced in this latest part. You know, we're going to talk about one of the jurors has reached out to him. There's more letters from the one that got away. So we've talked about her briefly. And there's another character that I really want to talk about that like creeps me out. And so, yeah. So like there's there's a man who writes to him. He's like a college student. And he says that.
Yeah. He's the one that's in the hospital, right?
Yeah. So he wonders if there's like a reason. He also like is questioning. Initially, he like is writing to him like questioning like, what made you the way that you are? Like, were you hit on the head? Like, and so
like
he's
a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah,
because he's like, because I'm in the hospital with a TBI.
I'm in the hospital. Yeah. He's
and
like,
I feel different.
Hit my head, and he's like, and I'm wondering if something got knocked loose, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like, his letters at first, I'm kind of like, this poor dude.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I was like, holy fuck. Like, he basically, his letters end up getting more and more
twisted,
concerning. And he's pretty much talking about how he thinks that the part of your brain that makes you like the amygdala, stops you from making rash decisions, you know, kind of like, you know, you're like a polite person.
Or your frontal cortex.
Yeah. And
your frontal lobe.
As his letters go on, like at first he's like trying to advocate for himself in the hospital, saying like, hey, there's something going on with me. You guys need to help me. And nobody's helping. Nobody's listening.
So then he starts getting violent.
Like
hitting a doctor with a tray.
Hits a doctor with a tray. And then he sexually assaults a nurse. And then he full on a different nurse. And then he just disappears. He pretty much, his last letter to Jonas says like, he's telling Jonas these things that he wants to do. And from his replies to Jonas, it sounds like Jonas is egging him on, telling him like,
absolutely.
He's like, go ahead, like do your thing.
Which again, we never hear from Jonas, but you 100% know he's responding to these people because they continue to write back, and it's
some of them he doesn't. Like
some of them he doesn't. They're like,
but they're
did
just
you
so
get my stuff?
Yeah, they're so obsessed that they just keep it going.
But the ones that you do know he's responding to, it's because the content changes. Yeah. And there's a direction that's measurable. Yeah. Right? So so it's wild, you guys. It's still really wild.
Yeah. To like wrap up this like particular character, I was just like really shocked with this guy because I was like, he started off as like this poor college kid who just like he was trying to get in the hot tub that his stepdad set up, and he slipped and cracked his head. So this college student basically writes to Jonas and is telling him how he wants to grape this woman who's one of his nurses. And so he tells him that if it all works out, you'll never hear from me again. And he says like kind of like wish me luck. And there's like a note at the end of the letter from the editor, and it says that the nurse in question spent 2 weeks in the ICU, and this kid was never heard from ever again.
Oh, like the FBI never found him.
Yeah, nobody ever found him. They have no idea where he went. His stepdad like moved away, like divorced his mom, and then just left and was like, I'd want nothing to do with this.
Dissolved.
Yeah. So that's like one of the characters that was introduced in this section, and was like kind of like a shocking one for me because I was like, this is not at all where I thought this was going to go. And and then like the characters we know and kind of love, even though they're insane, their letters shift a little. I mean, we could talk about like maybe one of the big characters, Candace, the PhD student, who ends up his wife. Yep. And she finds out that she's pregnant with baby Jonas.
Little Jonas Jr.
Yeah.
So that was just sad to see that. Okay. He definitely was, what is the word I'm trying to use? Like he obviously manipulated her. I think she thought so Candace definitely thought that she was not able to be manipulated on the level that she was because she's a student. She is literally learning about exactly what's happening to her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like, a side note, there's no better way to learn than to experience it, I suppose. But, like, what a horrible way to experience it. But, yeah, so they met. She was instantly obsessed with him. Again, we talked about this in part 1. He ended up marrying her.
Mm-hmm.
The judge, proposing to her on national television during the trial. The judge married them in the chambers.
Yep.
She probably got a couple more visits in, and then it was like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The interest for me therein lies, what was the motivation of Jonas for that? I wish I had some answers. Like, what was the point?
Especially knowing how their story ends up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're like you do everything so calculatedly, but what was the point in that? Just to create, did you mean to get her pregnant?
I think I have an answer for that, because I was thinking the same thing, right? Where it seemed like he's all in for her.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was his way of like trying to gain like sympathy from the jury, because it's like, oh, I'm a married man now. Like, see, I can still love.
Yeah, but he would have to keep her around.
But the other part of me, because like I don't want to take away from Candace's story, because I feel like we should finish that. But I think it has to do with the one that got away.
Absolutely, it does. I mean, even
in
the poem,
obsessed with her.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
because he wants to finish what he started.
Yeah, but I also feel like the one that got away also had love for Jonas, because her story gets messed up too.
Yes,
and
I don't know if that's
I don't want to say love, but like, what's the Stockholm syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
I think she very much so had a horrific case of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that she was,
or not even that, but just the safety of getting away from him, like the box, the closet, and we'll touch base on this if you're new here. It's so sad.
It's very sad.
Like he killed her that night.
Mm-hmm.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
There was no return for the one.
Yeah.
She was ruined.
It's so sad. Like her thing like kind of brought like a small tear to my eye, because I was like, this poor woman who should have felt like obviously she's going to have a lot of shit to go through. Like, she's going to have a lot that she's going to have to work through. But she escaped what so many women weren't able to.
And then on top of the PTSD, you have survivor's guilt, because there's how many other women out there that you're the only one that they know of.
Yeah.
So you're really the only one we can calculate has got away.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have support in reaching out to other women that she knows got away from him, because just like her, they could have never gone to the police, because still she's never gone to the police. Nobody knows about her. I'm sure there's groups out there. Obviously, there's groups for everything. But I think she's so debilitated in her current mental and emotional state that that's just not an option.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even be surprised if she has like agoraphobia, which is fear of leaving her house.
Well, I mean, she was very comfortable because I guess he had locked her in that box.
Right.
That was his thing with her.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And she was like, very comfortable
I know that
in dark spaces.
Comfortable and closed, tight, dark spaces, because she knows what awaits for her is where the tragedy is. But if she's in the box, she's safe.
Yeah, and I think that was like also her only source of safety when she was with him too. Was like as long as she was in the box, he wasn't hurting.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she tries to duplicate that in her own home. He's locked up, throw away the key, cannot reach her, and yet her safety and fear all wrapped around this man, like he's still walking around free. And and part of that, partially because he did escape and get out. So she's like, she's living in a constant state of fear.
And like her thing too is weird because a lot of it, like, it just gets more and more incoherent as the letters go on.
Yeah.
And part of me, like, she talks about how, like, she was expressing to Jonas how she couldn't sleep because she didn't, like, she tried sleeping in her closet. It wasn't, like, a tight enough space for her. And then she opens her front door and there's a chest there, pretty much similar to what she was locked in. And so I'm kind of
and
like...
And then she's like...
I was questioning whether or not... Because she was questioning, like, am I losing my mind?
Yes. Am I delusional? Is the box really
And I
there?
was questioning, like, okay, is it actually there? But then she said that there's, like, a person that shows up.
Uh-huh.
And that they are recreating a lot of the stuff that Jonas put her through. And so I'm thinking,
which
like, okay,
doesn't make sense.
At this
Where
point, she's lost it. Yeah. But then how it, like, we'll talk in the next episode about how her story ends.
Yeah.
How did she end up where she ended up if there wasn't a person there?
Mm-hmm.
And
so, exactly.
And meanwhile, there's also copycat murders going on.
Correct.
Which I think also might have something to do with her.
But I don't know if Jonas, you think that he would want to give that information away and have somebody else complete his task? I think he's got too much ego for that. That's
where I kind of think that, like, maybe that college student kid maybe had something to do with it, because he disappeared and they never found him.
So Jonas could have written him in the letter and be like, there's one thing that I need you to wrap up.
He could have.
You want to do me
like,
a
that's
solid?
Just, like, a crazy theory of mine. Because
that's
I do
an interesting theory.
I do wonder, like, who was this person that
to
was doing
literally
these things
mimic
to
it
her?
exactly how.
And she was comfortable enough to let him in. Like, so, and I'm like, who else would... Because as far as Jonas was trying to prove that he was, like, this innocent person, that he couldn't have done these things. Like, he was still holding on to his innocence even up till the end, right?
Was he?
He was, like, to the public.
No, was he innocent?
Oh, we know he wasn't.
I know, but it's just like...
But he was still trying to get off of, like, the
Do you see, like, the different angles that could go? Like...
And he's, like, even manipulating us as readers. So that's why I'm like, just, it's so fucked up.
That's how well he wrote this book.
It's so good.
It's so good. You have to pick it up. Okay, so before we were talking about Candace, and Candace is a PhD student that was studying specifically and doing her dissertation on
Hebristophilia.
Hebristophilia. I know. I just was like,
more simply, Bonnie and Clyde syndrome.
Right. And that is, do you know how to explain it a little bit better?
So it's basically somebody that has a sexual attraction to
a bad boy.
Like a dangerous, like basically like a convicted criminal. Like somebody who is usually dangerous.
Like that's a turn on.
And it tends to be, I mean, at least what's been famously covered, it tends to be with serial killers. So, like, we'll kind of touch that, like, at the end of this episode. You know, there's, like, people like Ted Bundy and all that. And so we'll give, like, kind of, like, a good list of people that have been involved with something like that towards the end of the video. But, yeah, so oh, my gosh.
I know.
I'm going to butcher it.
I can pronounce it if I saw the word.
Yeah.
I'm like, did we write it down somewhere?
I know we wrote it in, like, our last notes, but, like... Oh, wait, hang on. Might actually have it at the end of these now. Hebristophilia. Yeah.
So she's doing her dissertation on that. Okay. We're moving on.
Yeah.
And she looks at Jonas as this like specimen that she can study. But she ends up being manipulated by Jonas, and it's just got to be something about in his presence. Like, you know, he's described, again, we covered this in part 1, but of being this like very beautiful man. I'm so curious. I wish that Joshua Chaplinsky like at least gave us like have somebody sketch a drawing for us.
Yeah.
But I'm
like,
sure
I've been thinking of him as like young Brad Pitt. Like the way that they like were talking about him, like specifically from Thelma and Louise, because he was a criminal in that one. Like he robbed, who was it? Louise, right?
He's just probably have to have the most like gentle eyes and so comforting, but be the literal devil. Because like everybody falls in love with him, but it's like the most beautiful person is never going to be for everyone because everyone likes different things, but it's like everyone's enthralled with him.
Across the board. Yeah,
I know,
everyone.
so I'm like, what is it?
I mean, even the detective, Grant Singer, he says, like, when I pulled you over, you were charming. He's like, you we're doing something weird and shifty, and I knew you were doing something weird and shifty, but you talked your way out.
Yeah,
of it.
I was like, you were covered your tracks real well.
So it's literally anyone that comes into contact.
So it's just, we would all be fucked, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so she's spending time alone with him for this dissertation, moves into a motel like a couple miles outside of where the prison is, ends up like falling for the guy. Fast forward, he proposes in court. As he's found guilty, he gets married to her in the judge's chambers, and then off goes this relationship. It doesn't last long.
Like not long at all.
Not long at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the marriage because they actually stay married. However, he stops responding to her completely.
Takes her name off of
the visitor list.
Yeah.
As well as letters, maybe too.
Yeah, he's not responding to her letters.
Well, I mean, maybe he
not calling.
Is telling them, like, I don't even want to get the letters, not answering phone calls, took her off the visitor list. And not only that, he actually blocked her.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? This must have been a mistake. And so she's panicking. She's like, we just got married. Like, I love you. You love me. I'm still staying at the motel. I just found out that I'm pregnant. I want you to be included in your child's life. That's so important to me because of her backstory of her father being incarcerated, her mother never allowing her to have a relationship with him, how much that fucked her up and kind of led her down a path that led her straight into this. And
she literally moved into a motel for this guy. Like, she's pregnant, about to give birth, living in like a crappy motel. And all of this because she fell in love with him. And
it's... Yeah. There's just nothing good that comes. Okay, so that's what I wrote. What was the point? What did this fulfill? What did this check off of the checklist for Jonas? What was the purpose?
Yeah.
You couldn't have known she was ovulating and she was going to get pregnant. Unless he's writing that shit in letters. All right, are you ovulating, baby?
No.
Let's find a way to get this done. And then the chances of getting pregnant just because you're ovulating, it's like pregnancy is actually really hard to achieve.
I think he was it was like the
perfect storm.
I think it was like that honeymoon phase of like, we're doing something so bad. Like, I think she it might have been like that high, and like they were able to like somehow, like, because she says that like the guards pretty much like turned their back
from the beginning
and like let it happen. So again, he's also charming like the guys that are like supposed to be keeping him on track. So it's like there's really no reason why she should have gotten pregnant in the first place. Yeah, it like ends up like leading her to like get to a point where she was like, you know what? Fuck you. Like, you don't want to be a part of this kid's life. Fuck you. I'm going to raise him on my own.
I love him.
She names him Jonas Jr. And some interesting things happen where she's kind of broke. Like, she has nowhere else to go for now.
Look, she's wasted all of this.
So she kind of ends up stuck in this motel for a little while. And we're going to come back.
And just, what happened to your dissertation in school?
So I know that she does say that she's still trying to work on it.
Yeah.
She's trying to finish school despite the fact that she's pregnant and has a child. And she ends up getting some help.
She sure does.
So we kind of talked briefly in the last episode about Ginny. And we pointed out that she's like, from the get-go, she's just enamored with Jonas.
Yes.
She loves him. She's like, you're so hot. Oh, and by the way, she's like an older woman. So she
like
says
42, right?
She says that she's been 29 for like
14 years.
Yeah. So
I calculated out. I think she's like 42.
Yeah. She's like a cougar, right?
Yes.
Super into him, right? And so when she finds out that they get married, right? She's pissed. She's like, I dropped the kids off at my mom's house. She's like, I'm driving like the 30 hours to you. I've got a Tupperware container to pee in.
I'm not stopping.
I'll see you
when I get there. I don't even know how I'm going to get in there. But I'll see ya.
And we find out that she gets to the trial, and this is after he's been convicted and he's been given the death penalty and he's going to death row. She literally mauls a female reporter, bites her on the cheek, and says, "I'm going to suck your soul out." It was her cheek. So she bit her in the face.
Yeah.
And she's like, I saw a pretty face and I just got so mad. And she said,
bite it.
She said that she was going to suck her soul out or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, Miss Ginny, by the time, we start this part with him being on death row, she admits that she's in a psych ward. And her mom says that her kids were taken back by the foster care system.
By the state, yeah.
Yeah, so the system took the kids. So she's like, oh, well, they were kind of getting in the way anyways of our relationship.
Right. And then you're like, what? Hold the fuck up a minute here, Ginny. That's when I was like, fuck you, Ginny.
So she ends up like doing some time.
Like all this was fun and games until you literally were like, you're only convenient when I want you.
Yeah. And so she ends up like getting into like a relationship with like one of her orderlies in like just like a sexual relationship. She's like, oh, I'm in love. And she's not supposed to be writing Jonas because they're like, obviously you have a problem with this guy. So you can't be writing to him. But like, she's like fucking the orderly. And then the orderly takes the letters and mails them for her. And she's basically saying like, you know what? I went a little crazy there, but I'm getting help. I got a new love interest, and then come to find out,
can't be talking to you that much.
Yeah. So the orderly ends up was having sex with somebody else, and she's like, oh, that 2-timer. But they basically, after like a while, it's not specified how much time, but we know that she was in there for a while, probably months,
if not like a year.
And so they end up releasing her I guess
we could check the dates on the letter.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So she will check and
we'll let you know.
We'll get back to it. So she ends up getting released, and she gets hooked up with like a job at a grocery store, and she says,
bagging.
Yeah, she's
bagging. Like, oh, I love it. Telling people, walking them out to their
starts another
car.
Relationship with her manager, which doesn't end well. And then she finds out, so we find out that she's been staying in a motel because it's close to her doctor and it's close to the grocery store she works at.
What do you know?
And guess who her next door neighbor is?
Who?
Candace. And her newborn baby. And it takes her a minute to connect the dots, but she's like, and then she's like, oh, you'll never guess who my neighbor is. And she's writing this to Jonas. You'll never guess who my neighbor is. Your darling Candace. And she's like, she says that she falls in love with the little, with Jonas Jr. She watches Candace for her, or she watches Jonas Jr. for Candace. She's basically turned into this nanny for Candace. And I'm sitting here thinking this bitch has really lost her mind. Or she's stalking Candace. That was my thought process.
Yeah.
Because Candace in all her letters to Jonas, she never once acknowledges Ginny. She never talks about her. Yeah. Never. And up until one of her...
But maybe Ginny doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Well, she does.
No, I mean to Candace.
I think she did, because she said that they had a couple good conversations about him.
Oh, you're right.
And, because then we come to find out, towards the end of this part, Candace does acknowledge that Ginny has been in their lives.
Yeah.
And Ginny tells Jonas that she fell in love with Candace.
Yeah.
And that they kissed, and that she's going to move Candace and Jonas Jr. back to their hometown, or to Ginny's hometown.
Yeah.
And she's going to take care of her while she finishes school, and they're just going to ride off into the sunset together.
Yeah.
And she's sending artwork made by Jonas. She's talking about his birthday, and we did this and that, and she's just giving him updates on this kid that he clearly has no interest in.
Yeah. Candace
does end up acknowledging it, and she says oh, I've been hanging out with your good friend Ginny. And Candace basically says, it's amazing what a woman will do, especially a desperate woman like Ginny, if you lead her on to believe that you're falling in love with her. And so she basically... She'll move mountains. And so she says, guess what? I have a perfect subject for my paper, and it's Ginny, because Ginny is so in love with you that I have just so much content for my paper.
Yeah.
And so she's like, we talk super late into the night all the time. And she's like, and now I have a free babysitter. So yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It works out just great. I mean, honestly, like, she's got to enjoy some of it. Because
she gets the perks of babysitting.
Yeah. Well, not even that, but it's like if you're living with somebody and you're spending that much time around them.
Maybe some sort of friendship.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying anything more, but I feel like even with, or the free childcare, even with her being topic of her paper, if it was a bad situation, I feel like as a mother, she would never keep Jonas Jr. in that situation or herself. So at the end of the day, she probably likes her a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm talking platonically, completely.
Yeah. But. So another character whose relationship kind of shifts while Jonas is on death row would be his childhood friend, Billy. And
or
Billy...
William.
Yeah, William. But he always signs him like your friend Billy. So Billy, we kind of touched on him briefly in the last episode, but he was friends with Jonas for like less than a year when they were like 10 years old. And Billy, and I know that like this isn't a deal breaker for a lot of people, but for Billy, and considering the time that they grew up in, not a lot of people were as forward thinking with homosexuality and stuff like that. So he says that part of why he goes back so much to that time in their lives was because he felt he could truly be himself around Jonas.
Right.
And he said whether it was
he was trying to figure himself out still.
Yeah. So he said whether it's because you actually cared about me or because you were just so busy thinking about your crazy stuff.
And he was kind of like the beard.
Yeah.
For Jonas.
Yeah.
Not sexually, but like for Jonas to appear normal to the outside world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which is wild that a 10-year-old would be thinking like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you know, that's not something we can relate to. That's I think that's what we keep coming back to with these books is like, we don't relate to these things.
Yeah.
So we're like, dude, like, but so anyway, so poor Billy, I kind of felt bad for him after a while because he's holding on so desperately to this like time in his life when he was just a simple kid. Nothing was, he's just a kid hanging out with his best friend.
And it seems like a false reality now that he's an adult.
And there are times when he is like kind of picking those pieces out when he's a kid, or like from between being a kid and then now being an adult. So Billy has a partner. Their name is Ziv. And their partner finds out, or his partner finds out that Billy is writing to Jonas.
Yes.
And Ziv is very much so like, what the hell? Why would you be writing to this guy? He's a convicted killer. He hurt so many people. He's disgusting. And Billy never really has a reason for it. And so he kind of keeps it,
doesn't know.
Yeah.
He probably has no idea why he's doing what he's doing.
No, he doesn't. And like, so, Ziv is like working with like Billy's therapist and they're like trying to get him to like let go of Jonas. And
right.
So there's a point where like Billy is writing him letters in secret and he's like making a plan to come out and visit him while he's on death row. And we know that Jonas is responding to Billy because Billy at one point tells him like, hey, I need you to send these letters to like my place of work. You can't send them to the house anymore because Ziv is like
going through the
he's going crazy. And Ziv at one point even physically writes a letter to Jonas and is like, leave Billy alone.
I was just gonna say, was there anything we could like read from that letter? But you keep going on while I find it.
Yeah. So like Ziv is like, and there's like a point where like you're kind of like, okay, Ziv, like I understand you don't understand it, but maybe this is something that Billy needs to work through. And like there's a point where like Ziv just like won't let it go, and I'm kind of like, dude, just let him do what he needs to do.
He says, what the ever loving fuck.
Ziv's like little letter, it actually had me like chuckling just a little bit just because he's so like, what is wrong with you people? Leave him alone.
I know.
So did you find anything you want to read on that?
You need to ask yourself why you hate women so much. Whatever you're blaming them for, you'll most likely find it within yourself. Locked away in a tiny box you've convinced yourself can't be opened.
And that's like something I never understood too, was like, why does Jonas have such a dislike for women? His mom seemed like she was nothing but like an attentive mom. She did everything she could to take care of him. She has nothing but fond memories of her. And Jonas, and like we'll kind of get into that when we start kind of talking about her character, but like yeah, we'll touch on that in a minute. But
he also kind of more like a picture of what Jonas may be.
Mm-hmm.
He says, beneath the handsome jocular veneer, where your crimes cease to be vague and sexy, ugly details paint a picture of who you truly are. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ziv hit it like right on the head. Like it's just, just yeah.
You're not a dangerous ladies' man run afoul of his appetites. You're a festering pile of misogyny and self-hatred.
Thank you, Ziv.
Yeah.
Finally.
A devourer of women. Okay, anyways.
Finally, somebody like calls him out on, like genuinely calls him out on his shit, and not through the lens of like a disgruntled baby mama.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. Like it's just literally somebody who is like, you are not the man you think you are. Like
Ziv doesn't want anything out of Jonas, whereas all these other people want something.
Yeah.
And we're getting into that.
Billy, you know, he kind of goes through this period where he's like, he's making plans to come visit Jonas while he's on death row. And he's like having to hide his plans. Ziv ends up finding out, and Ziv is like, dude, like it's either him or it's me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then Billy, surprisingly, comes to this conclusion where he's like, you know what?
You're right.
Neither of you. Like he ends up dropping Ziv, but he also drops Jonas, which I didn't see coming. I thought, so, you know, they had kind of discussed in some of the letters that he was going to come watch his execution as well, be there for him while he was being executed. And there's a point where Billy's like, I can't do this. He's like, I don't know why I'm actually holding on to this friendship.
To either one of you.
That both of you are exercising control over me. And it's because I'm, you know, essentially kind of like a weak person. Like I have no backbone. I'm not comfortable in my skin. I'm not happy with who I am. And he's like, I'm not going to do this with either of you. And he's like, this is the last letter you will ever get from me. And
I won't be at your execution.
Won't be at your execution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adios.
That's insane.
Deuces.
And I was like, you know what? Good for Billy. Like that is awesome. Like I'm so
something
happy.
Positive came out of the interaction.
Yeah. And I also wish I could have been like a fly on the wall during his therapy sessions, because like at what point did he come to that conclusion? Because he was almost like blindly like, I'm gonna come see you. He knows that he was doing these terrible things.
Yep.
And he was still like, I'm gonna come visit you because you were like the one person that didn't judge me, but you also didn't know what I was going through. So I'm like, why are you so hung up on this guy?
Yeah, I'm very curious, like, how did he get to that conclusion?
Yeah.
Because that's a drastic change, because it has to do with how he feels about himself internally, like his ego. And ego changes, like, they're easier done when you're young.
Yeah.
And versus how you see yourself and like see the world. That's why it's so difficult for like adults to change. Like it takes forever and a lot of work. And so something just clicked, and I'm glad he went in that direction.
Yeah, I hope that he rode off into the sunset with some nice man down the road, like somebody that's not a serial killer or controlling. Because like while Ziv had like the right intentions, he still was exercising some sort of control. Like he was like taking away his
he was acting like more of like
a father,
a parent. Yes.
Versus
than he was a partner.
Yeah. So I'm good for you, Billy.
Good for you, Billy. Yeah. Okay, who's next?
I would say probably like his mom and his dad, because
she frustrates the shit out of me.
But I'm also like, you poor woman. Like, you're so clueless.
She's so, like, her character is so, she's also very weak.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Jonas is a lot like his mother. How he channels it is different.
Vastly different.
Yeah.
But yeah, like poor Judith. Like I at one point I just ended up feeling bad for her. And I think it was because she just could not see it. And there were times where
you're literally you're writing it out. It's in black and white. How do you not see it? You're saying it.
Yeah, I mean, there is one point where she does kind of switch, like, you know, so
Yeah,
a good
she
majority
does.
of her letters
She
are
does.
mostly supportive. She's, like, excited that she's got a grandchild coming. She's supportive of his marriage. She's very happy that he's finding love.
Mm-hmm.
And in the background, his dad ends up taking, like, a really bad turn with his health.
Right. Yeah, he has a stroke.
Yeah, she said he blew a...
Aneurysm?
He had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's having to take care of him physically. Like, she's having to, like...
wipe his ass,
like, get him in and out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's kind of talking
Feed
about
him.
that. And I think what propelled him to have this aneurysm was him getting married. Like, was Jonas getting married. Because he was, like... just like, you know, and so...
because he was not supportive of Jonas. Like, I don't
Period.
think he... Period. Like, probably ever.
Hated Jonas.
Didn't like him from the
Yeah.
start. He probably knew from when he entered Judith's life, because it's not Jonas's father, we find out, that he probably knew something was off with this motherfucker the entire time.
Well, she does mention that in one of the letters, and I think she mentioned it in the last, like, what would have been in our last episode, the first couple parts, was that his dad at first was very loving, took him fishing, chuckled
Yes.
at him, you know,
Yeah.
was a very attentive father. But then there was a moment where Jonas, and I'm gonna, it's paraphrasing, I can't remember specifically, but I know that Jonas had made a comment about a girl's name, saying something like off or something that was just like unfeeling and uncaring. And the little girl's name happened to be the same name of his dad's sister that had died.
Oh,
as an
yes.
infant.
Yes. And then he was like, how
did you know that? Like, there was no reason for you to know that.
And then why did you say it the way that you said it?
Yeah.
Like,
so I think since
and Jonas
then,
was around 10 years old.
He was little. He was like a tiny kid. I think she said he was like maybe 10, like maybe between 7 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's no reason why
there's no internet, because again, he was born in the
Like, he
70s,
grew up
so
in,
that
like,
would
the
have been in the
80s,
80s.
yeah.
So no, like, truly,
there's no way
what's
he
going
could have
on.
known. Yeah.
Oh, we just need more.
Yeah,
we just
more.
need more about him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I want it.
I think from then that was probably like when his dad was like,
fuck this dude.
fuck this kid.
Yeah.
You know? And like, you know, he was also like that typical like 80s, 90s dad that kind of like was seen and not heard, you know, like the strong, silent type.
Yeah.
He goes to work, he makes the money. He doesn't need to do all the
raising,
child rearing, that type of thing. So, yeah, dad's sick. Mom is like just trying to make the best out of the situation. She's like asking, she wants to come visit him. They don't have enough money for him to go visit, or for her to go visit him. And there's a point where she joins like this group. Like, this group is trying to get her to come join, and they're family members for incarcerated people. And she's like, I don't need to be a part of that. I just want a friend. I'm just lonely. She's like, it's so hard taking care of your dad. Like, I love taking care of him. I love him. Obviously, I'm going to care for him. But she's like, I'm just struggling over here. Yeah. And so she wants to go meet her.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, I feel bad because I think she reaches out to Candace a couple times, but Candace isn't answering her. Right. So she doesn't even get to see her grandkid. Right. So she's literally just alone. And so she kind of makes friends with some people, but then it turns out those people had ulterior motives. They kind of tricked her because she's so gullible. Yeah. She's like, just like this sweet.
She's naive.
Soul.
Yeah. she wants to trust everybody. Yeah. And what they're saying is true and honest. And how she's lived this far into her life and not figured that out, I don't know.
And this poor woman, and I feel bad because like there's certain letters where some of her letters are like kind of chilling, because she does bring up kind of like a key moment that maybe this might have been Jonas's first kill.
Oh, right.
And that was when she said and this is after like 2 letters of hers where she's like giving him like prison recipes. So like prison pizza. And like prison birthday cake, and then she's like, I love you, you know, like very like just happy go lucky, like, you know, and
let me know how it turns out.
And then she writes some shit where she's like, do you remember your cousin who went missing on our family camping trip? And how your aunt had to go stay in like a psych ward for years because she was so devastated. And she said, and remember how when she went missing, she was wearing a purple satin jacket? it's interesting because I found that purple satin jacket in
the back of
your closet.
Mhm.
And when I asked you about it, you had nothing to say. And I'm
Mhm.
like, bro, I understand you love your son, but I would have been like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you have this jacket? This is what she supposedly went
Yeah.
missing in. Like, we cannot find this jacket and all
And
of
then
this
that's
stuff.
where it all started.
And that's where it all started.
That was the calling card.
Yeah, and so she does, like, and there's, like, a certain point. So there's another character we haven't really talked too much about, but it's Detective Grant Singer.
Mhm.
And he was one of the people that was influential in getting Jonas incarcerated.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he kind of had, like, a moment
We
where
talked
he
about
was
him
very,
briefly earlier.
very obsessed with it because he had met him once. And he believes it was during his gap year where he wasn't killing anyone. But he was like, I knew that there was something off about this guy. He had purple satin in the back of his car. And he was obsessed with it. And he talks about how, like, he obsessed over it for years. Everybody called him crazy. And then finally the FBI was like, okay, what do you have to say? Like, come talk to us. Tell us what you have to say. And he's like, bro, this is what he looks like.
Yeah.
This is what he had. And then that's what ended up pointing them in that direction.
Yeah.
And so he says that at one point he had reached out to Jonas's mom to get more information on him while he was, like, in the crazy period where nobody believed him.
Yeah.
And then he says that he continued talking to Jonas's mom as a friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, I really like your mom.
We kind of touched base on this, I think, in the first part too.
Yeah.
Where he has a thing for Jonas's mom.
He does. Like, he doesn't say explicitly that he, like, oh, she's so beautiful, or I love her,
but,
like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, there's
something
says, like,
about her.
She's such a wonderful woman. Like, I just would sit there and listen to her.
Yeah.
And learn so much about you just by listening to her. Yeah. And then I found that she's just
a good person.
She's such a good person, and
good
she's
woman.
taking care of
your dad.
So many different things.
Yeah. He like at one point like almost talks to him like a stepdad would.
Yeah.
Like where he's like, you need to stop giving your mom such a hard time.
Yeah.
Call your mom.
Yeah.
Like, she's busy taking care of your infirm father. Like, she's wiping his ass. Like, he's like, obviously I wouldn't say that in her presence, but he's like, she's going through so much.
Yeah.
And you're being kind of like a shit. You're not treating her well. And he like so kind of like going back to Judith, Jonas is pissed because he's like, why are you emotionally cheating on my dad? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of gets defensive. Yeah.
Jonas has no right to be anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
the nerve.
Bro.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. So,
oh my God, it pisses me off.
And Judith, you literally, can tell that's like
No. You, after you murdered the first one, that was it.
All
like,
your opinions are no longer.
Nothing is in your favor anymore.
No.
You fucking ingrown toenail.
Yes. You are actually insane. Like, that for me, like, forget that you not forget.
Fermented folly whopper.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but
yeah, you're so gross. You're so gross. The nerve. And like,
are you fucking kidding me right now?
And Judith does say that. She's like, one, I'm not, how dare you insinuate that I'm cheating on your father? I've been nothing but supportive of him and you. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a couple points where she does speak up for herself, and I'm like, good for you. Good job. Like, yes, that is your son. You are his mother. You brought him into this world.
You'll take him out.
Yeah. And so,
fuck Indiana State Prison.
She still just
Here comes Judith.
Like, that whole, she maintains that whole, like, just supportive mom. And, you know, even up until the end, she's been nothing but supportive. And, like, her letters do kind of get different, which we'll cover in the next episode.
Slowly comes to the realization that her child is a demon from hell.
But it's still her kid, you know? And
I could never imagine.
Yeah. And like the way she kind of ends her letters at the end of this part is that she does share that Jonas's dad did die. And, you know, you can kind of tell that she just gets sad. Like her letters aren't as
well, look at all the shit that she's going through.
Yeah.
Like, one person can only handle so many things, especially when she has no support.
Mm-hmm. And now she's just completely alone.
Yeah.
And so, and then kind of jumping back into Grant, You know, Grant has been nothing but supportive. He, like, you know, helped out with some of the funeral stuff for her. Like, they still haven't met in person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I really expected them to
have met at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, kind of finishing up with Grant, you know,
I guess. What states were they in?
Indiana was where he was being held.
Right, but I'm thinking about Judith. Was it Ohio?
It's written down in here.
I don't know why Ohio's in my brain. But the detective was also in, like, they're in different states, right? I'm going to let you look because I have, like, absolutely zero idea where it could be.
Let's see. So
it doesn't say it in the, does it say it in the correspondence? No.
There's dates kind of written in the back. So he was born in Pennsylvania.
Right. Oh, yes.
Okay, so with Grant Singer, like I said, he's very close with Judith, Jonas's mom, and so he talks back and forth with Jonas, and there's one point where Jonas comes to God. It's kind of like this big public show, and like the FBI ends up actually connecting with Jonas to get his like help and like his expertise in solving
the cat murders,
some like copycat type murders, and
so Jonas's work.
Yeah,
they're copycatting. Yeah, Jonas's work.
And he's hoping that because he's being like an asset that would extend his time on death row and that he wouldn't be put to death. And Grant Singer ends up like writing him and is like, yeah, sorry, you're still going to be put to death as scheduled. And so he pretty much says kind of his closing letter to him, like one of the last few letters he sends, he says, you know, thank you for your help, but it really wasn't enough. This guy's still at large. Your information wasn't really that helpful.
Yeah.
So he says, you know, I will be there at your execution. He's like, obviously, I'm sorry about these circumstances, but he's like, I'm happy that I get to meet your mother in person finally. Mm-hmm. And so he was looking forward to it like that. And he says, like, you know, my heart is like happy because I get to finally see her. I'm a little nervous. And so that's kind of like his last couple letters in this part. So yeah, like throughout this whole thing, the relationships definitely shifted like towards the end. You know, the beginning, a lot of them were very positive, upbeat, you know, trying to keep your spirits up for the most part.
Well, we're still just talking about Judith.
At least from his mom. But then like kind of connecting everybody else, like everybody kind of wrote to him with their own intentions.
Yes.
So, you know, you had
the people that want the memorabilia, the people that want to write books, the people that, even Candace in the beginning,
she just wants to connect with her.
She wants to study him for her dissertation, for her PhD.
Yeah.
The only one that was there with good intentions and positive was his mom.
Yeah.
The tone changes with regards to when he submits his poem, and they're like super pumped. They want him to submit his poem to it's called In Verse magazine or newsletter, or pretty sure it was a magazine. But then even once they get that, they're like, oh my God, we're so glad that we have this, and we are, it's like copyright with them for that long, just so they can keep it from the public.
Yeah.
Don't actually write me anymore, because this is literally disgusting. Not interested in anything else you have to say.
Yeah.
The further we can keep this out of the public,
the better.
The better. Don't fucking write back. Deuces. Everybody else, it's literally, it's nothing to do with Jonas. He's just a means to their end as well. Just like Jonas's victims.
Well, even like that porn star that we had discussed at the beginning, she was like kind of writing to him, like saying like really gross things. Like,
I'm pretty sure she carved his name into her vagina.
That's what she said. But then even her stuff shifts.
Oh yeah, but later, remember, she's like, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. Like how I'm going to get it off.
Yeah. So it turns out like her boyfriend / manager who ran her like site,
her porn site,
was the one that was obsessed with Jonas, and he was making her do these things. And so she
wanted to.
She said that she wanted just to make money, essentially. Like, she was just kind of like under his thumb.
Because when she was the one at the end just writing Jonas herself, she did say, like, I don't want these things anymore.
Yeah, she kind of came to terms with the fact that it was, like, pretty unhinged. Like, she was still a porn star, you know, that was kind of
But you don't have
thing.
to be hinged.
Yeah, so that was, like,
unhinged
her,
to be a porn
her
star.
thing. And, like, she does end up saying that her boyfriend / manager, he left her, like, took all her stuff, like, and so she was like, that piece of shit, like, stole my stuff. But then the police end up coming and questioning her
Yeah.
in regards to her boyfriend, who is connected to a copycat killer.
Yeah.
So there's like that whole can of worms that isn't even really elaborated on too much.
Right.
Because like Jonas is receiving like postcards and their pictures.
Random. I wonder if it's that student.
I always wondered that
TBI.
too. I wondered that, and then
sending from like
it's
wherever
either
he's
him
like traveling to,
or it's
or
his
the
boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it's like he's getting these postcards of like dead bodies at his site, like the sites where his killings took place.
Yeah. And you know what? Just
crazy.
To throw this out there, if you make it this far in, yes, Joshua Chaplinsky, we would love to do like a really cool
I have like a Q&A
follow-up
for you.
interview Q&A.
I have questions.
Yeah, we have questions and we need answers.
I'm like obsessed with this, and like kind of something I'll talk about in like the third episode. Like I'll get into that and why I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of a psycho, because we'll talk about it next episode. A lot of these characters, you know, they start off with, like I said, kind of in a positive way, and then a lot of them kind of just fall off towards the end. Like Billy said goodbye, his mom, her letters in the next part kind of get a little bit darker. And so at this point, Jonas does get, the last letter he gets in this part is an official paper, or an official order of execution. So a judgment of death having been entered on the 18th day of September 2006 against the above named defendant, Jonas Raymond Williker, aka inmate 95744. He's been found guilty, and he will be, it is ordered that the director of the State of Indiana Department of Corrections shall execute the judgment of death this coming 11th day of March via lethal injection. So he officially got
the orders.
He is going to be put to death.
Yeah.
So
bye-bye.
Goodbye. Like, we should redo the song Goodbye Earl by the Chicks and do Goodbye Jonas, because
I know.
Fuck you, Jonas.
Yeah,
like,
fuck you.
So
fin of the sun.
Yeah. Goodbye. Parallels as far as like especially like talking about kind of in the spirit of Candace, because that was like kind of like, I think one of like the most mind-boggling parts for us was there's this theme, especially with like women who have like some sort of education. There's also the unhinged ones, which we'll kind of talk about, but you'd think that they would have some sort of sense, I guess.
Well,
but I mean, I know that that's probably not the right way to say it.
Yeah, because you can be very book smart and be
and I get that. I just
whatsoever.
Like for like my thing is like,
I feel like it's something like they want, like they have been able to check off all the boxes. They've done everything right. They've gone to school. They've gotten all this education. They're in this great job or whatever. Like they've done everything right, and then it's like they've never once in life gone against the grain.
I guess that makes sense.
And then they're like, and then
like
when they're
good girls,
like,
bad boys type thing.
Yeah.
They go get a guy with a motorcycle.
A whole other can of worms, though, because it's like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Nothing about that lifestyle. It won't be quiet. It won't be comfortable. It won't be long term.
No.
So.
All right, so real world examples of killers who found love or admiration while on death row. So we got Richard Glossip and Lee Roger. She was an activist. We got Tex Watson from the Manson family. What a guy.
What a winner.
Joan, I can't say her last name quite well. Spedge. So she was just insane.
Yeah.
We got Ted Bundy, Carol Ann Boone, Richard Ramirez, and Doreen Leoy, and she's the one who was the Teen Magazine editor. We have Kenneth Bianchi, which is the Hillside Strangler.
One of two, yeah.
Yep, so he got married to Joyce Book, who originally tried to woo Ted Bundy.
Yes.
But then she moved on.
To him.
Yep.
She's got real winner. She's like,
quite the taste.
If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to marry a serial killer.
And then we got Bolin the Butcher. He married Rosalie Martinez, who happened to be his public defender.
Wild.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up. It's real.
Yeah.
It's wild, right?
I don't know.
So Eric and Lyle Menendez, they both married in prison as well. Eric Menendez, he married Tammy Suckerman, and Lyle Menendez married Anna Erickson, who's a model. And then he later ended up marrying again, and her name was Rebecca Sneed. and she was a magazine editor, and now she's currently a lawyer. So they be finding love.
Yeah.
In all the right places.
The Menendez brothers are a whole different can of worms, though, that we just don't have the time to get into. But
but there's a documentary out.
Yeah.
And there's a new television series. It's wild.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Whether you...
Oh, that's a whole other can of worms. We won't go there.
Maybe that's like a whole separate thing we should do as like an episode.
So we have a couple of questions to ask you guys. What is it about killers on death row that draws people in? What do you think? Is it the danger, the distance, or is it some, sick, twisted fantasy? Very curious to know what your thoughts on that matter is. And then my last question for you would be, how does this mirror what we're seeing in Jonas's story?
Yeah.
What we see in real life and what we see in this book? Because I think Joshua Chaplinsky hit the nail on the head.
It definitely could be answered just through Candace's letters and even Ginny's. Because you have two kind of ends where Ginny's is like just the glorification and like the fantasy, whereas Candace kind of lived that.
Right.
Whether we understand why she fell in love with him or not in the first place. So like those I think are two really good examples. And you just have like maybe even his mom, like just like the love that she has for her son. Like I think that question can be answered as far as like that with those three women. And it's just, you're just not going to understand.
No.
Like, period.
But I'm curious what people think. It's a phenomena that can't truly be defined. I mean, you can define it by saying, well, this is what it is, but you won't feel it, I feel, unless you're in it.
And that's a good thing that we're never going to understand that.
Absolutely. I would really, oh no. I got a good one and I'm keeping him. He's not a serial killer. Ooh.
I'm happy with my little...
My quiet life.
Comic bird.
Even though it's not quiet because these kids be crazy. But it's quiet in regards to serial murders.
Yeah. So that kind of concludes this part of, episode 2 that we have of this, like, Letters to the Purple Satin Killer. Next episode we'll discuss the letters he received just waiting for his execution.
Yep.
There's
getting ready to go, say bye-bye.
Some revelations in that.
Talk about his son a little bit more. Yeah. We'll get to wrap up with everybody and see what happens to everybody where everybody goes.
Yeah. So yeah,
we know Jonas is going to die.
Thank God. Yeah, so if you have anything you want to add to this,
let us know.
Yeah, and on anything, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming your way. We'll announce that, when we're ready, so just keep an eye out for that.
Just to let you guys know, since I know we sent out a post about us having some tech issues. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But we got more tech, so we got a new camera. We got a new computer, some extra like a few new apps that we're learning how to use that have tools for us to utilize for editing. And so we're still making steps in the right direction. It's just a matter of us teaching ourselves because we are not media editors by nature. And so bear with us. As soon as we really get a grasp on everything, things will go much smoother, be much quicker. You will always be getting at least one episode each week, as well as one midnight confession each week. Bear with us. Because this is going to be the second episode that will be, like, obviously we have a midnight confession that we're working on now, ready to come out, should be posted before you even see this and this. And then we'll be filming literally tomorrow for part 3. Yeah. And then from there, we plan to be on a stricter schedule so long as we can learn this tech. Yeah. So thank you for bearing with us, dear audience.
Thank you for joining us for another riveting episode.
Riveting.
Of Cozy Midnight Collective. And remember, some stories are meant to haunt you. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.